The grand doors of a prestigious downtown bank swung open as Clint Eastwood stepped inside, his sharp eyes scanning the marble floors and long lines of well-dressed customers. He had come to handle some business, but just as he approached the counter, a commotion near the entrance caught his attention. A frail old man, dressed in tattered clothes, was pleading with the security guard. "Please, sir, I just need to withdraw my pension." "I have my ID," the man said, his voice shaking. The security guard, a burly man with a smug expression, sneered. "I told you, we don't allow beggars in here. Get lost before I make you." The old man's wrinkled hands trembled as he held out his papers, his desperation clear. The guard shoved him back, causing him to stumble. The crowd inside the bank looked on, some shaking their heads, others pretending not to notice. But Clint Eastwood noticed. His jaw clenched, and his steely gaze locked onto the security guard. He had seen injustice many times in his life, but watching a helpless man be treated like dirt? That was something he couldn't ignore. Clint stepped forward, his boots clicking against the polished floor. The security guard turned, clearly unimpressed. "Step aside, old man. This doesn't concern you," he barked, puffing up his chest. Clint's expression remained calm, but there was something in his stance, something powerful, that made the entire room quiet down. "That man has every right to be here," Clint said, his voice deep and steady. "He's not a beggar. He's a customer." The security guard scoffed. "And who are you to tell me how to do my job?" Clint took a slow step closer, his piercing gaze never wavering. "Someone who doesn't tolerate bullies," he replied. The tension in the air was thick. The bank manager, a man in an expensive suit, rushed over, clearly sensing the shift in power. "Sir, is there a problem here?" he asked nervously. Clint didn't even look at him. Instead, he gestured toward the old man. "The only problem I see is the way you treat your customers. You let the rich ones waltz in, but the moment someone struggling steps through that door, you throw them out." The manager paled, realizing who he was speaking to. The murmurs in the bank grew louder as people recognized Clint Eastwood. Some customers started pulling out their phones, whispering among themselves. "That's Clint Eastwood, is he really standing up for that old man?" The manager forced a smile, suddenly shifting his attitude. "Mr. Eastwood, of course, we respect all our customers," he stammered. "There must have been a misunderstanding." Clint raised an eyebrow. "Misunderstanding?" He gestured toward the security guard. "I just watched this man shove your customer out the door. What kind of bank is this?" The old man looked up at Clint, his eyes welling with tears. "I just wanted to get my money to buy food for the week," he whispered. Clint's jaw tightened. Without a word, he reached into his own pocket and pulled out a thick stack of cash. He pressed it into the old man's hand. "You won't have to worry about food anymore," Clint said firmly. Gasps echoed through the bank. The security guard, suddenly realizing his mistake, looked horrified. I didn't know," he stuttered. But it was too late. Clint turned his gaze toward the manager. "You're going to do something about this man?" he asked, nodding toward the guard. The manager gulped. "Yes, of course. He's fired immediately." The security guard's face drained of color. "Please, sir, I need this job," he begged. Clint looked at him, his expression unreadable. "Maybe now you'll understand what it feels like to be powerless," he said simply. The entire bank was silent. Customers, tellers, even other security guards were watching, stunned by the turn of events. The old man clutched the money Clint had given him, shaking his head in disbelief. "I don't know how to thank you," he whispered. Clint placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "You don't have to," he said. "Just promise me one thing, when you see someone else in need, help them if you can." The old man nodded, his eyes filled with gratitude. The bank manager, still flustered, cleared his throat. "Mr. Eastwood, please allow us to correct this situation." "Sir, you are welcome to stay and complete your transaction," he told the elderly man. Clint gave a small nod of approval but didn't say another word. Instead, he turned on his heel and walked toward the exit. As Clint stepped outside, the crowd that had gathered inside followed him with their eyes. The story would spread, no doubt, and by the next day, people all over would be talking about how Clint Eastwood stood up for a poor old man at a bank. But for Clint, it wasn't about attention. It never was. He had lived long enough to know that true character wasn't about wealth or power, it was about how you treated others, especially those who couldn't fight for themselves. The old man stood at the door, watching Clint disappear down the street. He wiped a tear from his eye, knowing he had just met someone truly extraordinary. And as for the bank? Well, that security guard would think twice before ever treating someone with disrespect again. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so you never miss another inspiring tale. This version ensures Clint Eastwood appears in every section, with detailed explanations and emotional depth. Let me know if you want any further refinements.